In just a few hours' time, I'll be surrounded by four men playing Elvis. This is the Melbourne Elvis Festival at the Thornbury Theatre, and at 2 p.m, I'll be interviewing some of the men who claim to be Elvis and some of the world's best to find out what it means to them to play the king, and hopefully speaking to some of the fans and festival promoters to find out how Elvis is celebrated here in Melbourne, Australia.
The king of rock and roll, Elvis. Elvis! We love Elvis.
Dwight Eisenhower, Bill Cherry, Emilio Santoro, and Jay Dupuy bring Elvis back to life for a living. They've won awards in recognition for their portrayals of Elvis, with Emilio even playing an AI-generated Elvis on the final of America's Got Talent last year. They'd never performed in Australia till last night, with all four performers opening the 3-day festival to a sellout crowd. In the social media era of self-obsession, I find the concept of dedicating your career to playing someone else fascinating. The admiration for your craft is yours, but it also belongs to someone else. I was here to learn more about the mindset of a tribute artist and better understand Elvis mania in the process.
Even my daughter, who's now 16, they will get in the car and they'll pop some Elvis on and sing along. So
different generations, he's appreciated amongst different generations. I feel like that's quite rare for a musician.
Absolutely. It's just all of that opportunity because the songs, I guess, are really, really catchy in terms of the lyrics as well as the music itself.
And what do people normally drink? What are you having to serve the most of?
It's a bit of a mix. Normally Prosecco is the go.
It wasn't hard to find someone else that wanted to talk about Elvis. What's the significance of young Elvis to you and just Elvis generally as a fan?
Well, the significance to me is obviously about our love for Elvis and the music and his performances. There's never been anyone like him and there never will be again. That's testament to the generations and generations who love Elvis.
Have you got a favourite era of Elvis? So I think today is about 72.
The 50s era is my favourite because Elvis was raw and rebellious. Sexy, obviously. I mean, I don't know if you were aware, but he had to be filmed from the waist up because they didn't want any of that happening.
A little bit too sexy for some audiences. Yeah. And did you see the movie, the Austin Butler Elvis?
I did.
What were your thoughts?
I think there were some inconsistencies and also some fiction, and I guess that was part of the movie.
Elvis Presley pretty much stole Priscilla's life at the age of 14. She was only a child when he took her innocence and controlled everything.
But there were things in there that were not historically accurate, so I think to Elvis fans that know the truth, there were some things that we probably weren't so comfortable with, but I do think that it promoted Elvis to a new generation.
Two hours out from the show, I'd received word that the performers were here. I'd requested a quiet and comfy place to conduct the interview. Not only were my requests met, but I was granted access to a green room connected to the kitchen. It was time to talk business.
I'm known in this industry as being kind of like a jerk because I'm honest. You came out and you did a song from 1972 in a suit from 1972. But you look like Elvis from 1977. You're trying to fool me, make me believe that I'm watching something from 1972 when people hear and see so much and judge with their eyes. I'm not dogging you on your weight. Elvis gained weight too, but if you'd have wanted me to judge you from something where Elvis was in top form, and I can't do it. That's why I scored you so low. And he understood, oh, I get it now.
In 1999, it was New Year's, going into 2000, I played to 40, it's like almost 50,000 people. It was in Port Clinton, Ohio.
Wow.
Yeah. And they were doing like unique, it was David Letterman's show. So David Letterman was going all around the country to like unique things that they do, you know, like Times Square drops the ball. Port Clinton, Ohio is the walleye capital of the world, walleye fish.
Okay.
So they dropped this huge walleye fiberglass fish from a building. Like they drop it just like the ball drop, but it's this huge fish.
A huge fish.
Yeah, so I was singing on a stage in front of that.
Well, first of all, welcome to Australia. Welcome to Melbourne. Have you been out here before?
Never been to Melbourne. I flew into Melbourne to go to the Gold Coast, and I performed over there a few times in the Gold Coast.
How does that feel to actually feel like you're the man himself? How often does that happen?
Never. No, I never feel like I'm the man himself. People really do go out of their way to make us feel like we're special. I never take it for granted, but I never ever think that I'm actually Elvis. You know, that's something that we don't do, and I think as soon as you start doing something like that, you lose everything of what you're supposed to be doing, because this is supposed to be for Elvis. You know, if you start thinking you are Elvis, then you're doing this for the wrong reasons. You know, I love Elvis, you know, so that's why I do it. You know.
Can you talk to me a little bit about your love for Elvis, how you kind of get into character, how accurate to Elvis in terms of him performing on stage? Do you try and mirror certain things?
I try to recreate exactly what he did. You know, everything that I do on stage is exactly what he did. So if you see me doing it, it's because Elvis did it. You know, and like I'm gonna do Aloha. I know every little nuance of that show. Like every time he went, everybody was telling me, "Oh, you have all the moves. You sound like him. You know, you're doing really good on stage, but you don't really have any charisma." And I'm like, "Well, what the hell I got to do? Like, how does someone get charisma?" And this other band I was playing with, one of the backup singers says, "You know, charisma is just flirting with your eyes. That's all you have to do. Just find somebody and flirt with them with your eyes. It's basically you tell them what you want to do with your eyes, just not saying it, you know." And when she told me that, I tried it and it clicked. I became a lot more successful. A lot more people liked me. My act became more believable. This is no joke, too. I've spoken to several people that was in his inner circle, people that have seen him in concert. You didn't even have to see Elvis. You could feel him. You can feel his presence.
His energy.
His energy. That's amazing. I'm friends with a couple of his people, and they said they had their back to the door, you know, wherever they were at. You know, they're just sitting here having a conversation, and Elvis would walk in, and you'd feel him. Mm-hmm. Oh, Elvis is here. You turn around, there he is. Mm-hmm. He didn't say a word. He just came in the building, and you could feel him. I don't think I'll ever have that.
Dwight and Jay might look like the king, but their drummer really is one.
On the drums from Dallas, Texas, hard-working Ronnie Tutt.
How much do you try and emulate the actual work of Elvis's drummer himself? Do you chuck your own spin on it, or?
No, so I try to do pretty much exactly what he did, and I was lucky enough to meet Ronnie Tutt a couple of times and speak to him at length about certain things.
And can you talk to me a little bit about your mind state when you're on stage? Do you kind of become swept up in things? Do you become, lost in the performance?
I listen to a lot of the live recordings of Elvis and what they call the bootleg recordings and stuff that people don't hear a lot of the time. And I think when I'm playing, my head goes there, and I'm sort of like, you know, thinking of that, thinking what it's like to be on stage with Elvis.
What do you think is the best way to keep the legacy of Elvis alive for younger generations?
The place that everyone needs to go to and market is you need to see Tupelo, where Elvis was born. That town is very, very special. And we just got to be in Tupelo hardware store, which is where his mum took him at like 6 years old and bought the guitar. And that started everything. That is the humble beginnings of, I think, anyone can become a superstar.
Yeah. Thrilled to be back in Tupelo. I love Tupelo.
People had begun to arrive and the champagne showers were in full effect. This was Melbourne, Australia's tribute to a little-known performer from Tupelo, Mississippi named Elvis Presley.
Mate, you know, they die young, but they touch people, so life's precious. You know, he was the king. They called him the king, and they called him king for a reason. Very influential, spoke from the heart, sang from the heart, touched a lot of people, died really young, really early, but mate, did a lot in his life, and he's got a special place in my heart, for sure.
A lot of people talk about Elvis's charisma and his confidence on stage. What do you think made him so attractive to men and women alike?
100%, mate, his passion. His passion for music, his passion for people, love his family, love his mum. I was just telling the boys before, he's very humble. Had he gone on, he would have been a legend, but you know, where are we now, mate? You know, 50 years later, we're still calling him the king, and we're still rocking up, so...
Just off the bat, I love your outfit and your hair, and I feel like you're dressed appropriately for the big show today, so can you tell me a little bit about that?
I live and breathe Elvis. We've got Cadillacs, we've got the music, we've got the hairdo, we've got the clothes. Live and breathe the man. You know, he's from an early childhood. He touches people from a young age. He particularly touched me at the 73 or lower concert when I was about 11 years of age. I was a fan.
Having the king as an influence on your own style of dress, does that do wonders for your confidence as well?
Oh, for sure. Whenever I hear his music, it comforts me. I've just recently lost my mother last week, and up on stage today we heard gospel. Gospel will always comfort you whenever you're down, you know, so it's always there for me in my heart.
Sorry to hear, mate. There's also talk of, you know, Elvis didn't pass away. There are conspiracy theories, Elvis sightings after his supposed, you know, death. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, look, God bless him if he did have a conspiracy theory, but no, look, I believe in my heart that he did pass on in 77.
Elvis has left the house.
Look, I've been fortunate enough to be involved in music, so I perform Elvis as well, outside of my security work, and I love it. I get on stage and I just change my persona, and I just love entertaining people, and I just haven't got the same voice as Elvis, but my God, he was just an inspiration.
He had a 3-octave range, so the charisma, the looks, the man had the full package, you know, the full deal.
So Jack, can you talk to me a little bit about why you like Elvis?
Well, when I watched the Elvis movie, I was obsessed with him. I loved his dance moves and all that. I checked up about Elvis, and I thought, and he was dead. I thought, oh wow, it was crazy for me.
And do your friends like Elvis as well?
No, my friends don't like them.
Why is that?
Because they don't like his dance moves. They don't like him singing. They like rappers and that.
There's only basically two guys that, really just one guy that I trust in this industry, that actually has my back, wants to see me succeed, and I want the same for him, and that's Dwight. He's one of my best friends and on the planet, and we really want to see each other succeed. And there is a sense of camaraderie amongst us, but at the same time, most of the guys would step on my head to get my gig. You know what I mean? That's a false statement that this is a brotherhood. It was a brotherhood back in the day, and then a select few decided to start this little clique and try to distance himself away from other people, and then just try to steal your gigs constantly, you know. And it's not like that anymore. I want everybody to succeed. I mean, there's a lot of people on this planet, you know, so there's enough work for everyone. You know, so yeah, there's not much of a brotherhood anymore in this industry right now.
It felt like I was part of something. The more people I spoke to, the more I wanted to share in the same love these people had for Elvis. You can love Elvis as much as you want, but do you really sound like him? I was about to find out.
Other than the blonde hair, when I was growing up, they said I looked like Elvis. You see that? Can you believe it? I always considered that a great compliment. We love Elvis, don't we? And I see Elvis back there. Elvis?
The show was amazing. Dwight and Jay brought an infectious energy to their performance, but there was someone still yet to perform. We weren't able to catch Emilio perform on day 2, so we went back for the final show of the weekend to chat Hound Dogs. Specifically America's Got Talent, can you tell me a little bit about what it was like to be involved with that?
I've never been so nervous for a performance in my life. It was I got an email. I was doing a show back home in the UK, and I got an email from the AI company that I was working with for America's Got Talent. They said, "Can you be our Elvis for the America's Got Talent final?" Right, I just ignored the message for a few days actually because I thought it was spam. I just thought someone was like taking the mick. So I ignored it, and then they sent me another email saying, "Oh, we're serious. Can you like give us a call?" They sent me their website. I searched them up, done my research on them, and they're legit. So I gave them a call, and they explained the situation, what they wanted me to do. So then they flew me out later in August to LA, and they was doing all the mapping of my face, trying to match Elvis's face with mine. It was a crazy week, doing all the choreography for the show because I had someone dressed as Simon Cowell or acting as Simon Cowell sing with me. So they flew us back out then in September for the live finals, and I knew it was going to be big, but I think it's gone to like 15 million people around the world or something on YouTube.
Do you try and keep it a mix of doing what he did on stage as well as incorporating your own quirks and niches?
The thing is, with the era I do, because it was so early in Elvis's career, it was early in the 50s, they didn't have a lot of recordings because it was that early. Compared to these guys doing all the later years of Elvis's career, they would have a bit more to study on. So I can free roam as much as I want to, really, because obviously there's not a lot of recording, so you have to sort of picture what Elvis would have done in these situations.
We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby. Why can't you see? Why can't you see what you do? What you're doing to me? Why can't you see what you do? When you don't believe a word I say. We can't go on together with suspicious minds, and we can't build our dreams on suspicious minds.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and sincere is what this was. There was a passion behind the imitation, and it resonated with everyone in the audience. Because at the end of the day, that's all performing is. It's convincing the audience that you believe in your performance. And these guys didn't just believe in themselves, but also the greatest rock star to ever do it.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?